Hello beautiful ones, thanks for joining today. Today's practice is inspired by this childlike sense of wonder and astonishment, finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. So the invitation today will be to experience the wonder of being in the body, playing, experimenting, exploring, staying curious, and perhaps finding this sense of wonder and awe in the humblest of moments, in the humblest of yoga poses. I hope you enjoy. And you might notice that this is a 50-minute practice, which is longer than what I usually offer on YouTube. So if you enjoy the longer form practices, then these are on my Patreon, and the link is in the description below. Okay, I'll see you on the mat. Hello beautifuls. I didn't give you any warning about this, but if you feel like embracing a little more the theme of the practice today, then you might like to have a little look around your space and find something that gives you this sense of amazement or wonder or astonishment. When you look at it, it might be something precious, it might be something quite ordinary, and you might just have that nearby you as you practice on the mat, so that if the gaze lingers there, then you can return to this object of awe or astonishment. For me, I've just chosen two beautiful little rocks from the beach. So find something if you have it, and if you don't, that's okay, right? We'll still be attuning to our sense of wonderment. So let us begin straight away today. We'll start on hands and knees, all fours. Actually, I'm just going to turn the other way. Put my little rocks at this end. Okay. Hands and knees. Here we go. So we'll just drop into movement straight away as our portal into the present. So let's have knees above the hips, and we'll take a half downward facing dog or a puppy pose. A nice big step of the hands forward. Hands can be nice and wide, and just when you're ready, settling the chest and the forehead and the shoulders down towards the mat, just as far as is delicious for you, which might not be your greatest range of motion. It might be just somewhere on the way. And for me at the moment, I'm really enjoying just gently swaying the hips side to side in this pose, kind of like we're wagging our tail, or just shimmying the hips through space, right to left, left to right. So if this feels good for you, you might do that. Or you might just prefer to keep the hips still. One more breath here. And drawing the hips back to center if they were moving side to side. Let's inhale, press down through the hands, lift the chest, and step the hands back in underneath the shoulders. Okay, we'll keep going. Right arm opens out wide to the side, fingertips up towards the sky. And then we'll exhale and just thread the arm straight underneath. Lay down on the outer edge of the right arm, the right ear, the right temple. And today, just see where you'd like to go with that left hand and that left arm. You might keep the hand on the mat just in front of the face. You might choose to reach the arm forward, enjoying the sense of length this might offer you through the left side of the body. You might lift your left fingertips up into the space above you. Or you might even turn the left palm back away from you and reach the hand behind you, fingertips towards the right upper thigh or side waist, for a little half bind. Let's just be here for 2 more breaths. One more inhale. And as you exhale, releasing whatever the left hand's doing and bringing it back onto the mat. And we'll inhale and unwind. Open the right arm out wide again and reach it up towards the clouds or the sunshine. And right hand back down. How does it feel to be in the body today? Let's move to second side. Left arm opens wide. And threads underneath the archway of the right arm. Choosing where you would like to go with your right arm. And sensing into how the body-mind instrument is today. What does it feel like to be alive in this moment, in this pose? Observing just that. It's pretty amazing, this aliveness. Breath flowing, sensations sparkling, complete aliveness. One more breath here. And on your next exhale, let's release right hand to mat in front of your beautiful face, and then we'll unwind. Inhale, open the left arm out and up again, and then we'll exhale left hand to the mat. Let's just take a moment here on all fours and feel anchored, grounded through the hands, through the tops of the feet, or if the toes are tucked, the balls of the feet. So we're going to come off the hands now and come onto the elbows. Elbows underneath the shoulders, shoulder width distance, and we'll interlace the hands, anchor the outer wrists and the forearms, and tuck the toes. Let's lift into dolphin pose first instead of down dog today. If dolphin pose just doesn't feel like a source of amazement and wonder for you in the practice, then you might choose child's pose instead. And we don't have to walk the feet in too close to the elbows to start today. You might just let this one be more about a sense of release, allowing the head to release down towards the mat. Some of us might even have the forehead resting on the mat. Watching as the body responds to this shape, this yoga pose. Just one more breath here. And on your next exhalation, let's lower the knees back down to the mat. And now we'll come onto the hands and we'll meet together in our first downward dog of the practice. And just find some movement here that feels like the body is calling for, right? So it might be cycling through the legs, moving the hips, moving the feet, wagging the tail, wagging the head side to side, and just sort of celebrating this movement. Let it be juicy and pleasurable. And when the moment feels right, so following your intuitive rhythm today, it doesn't have to be perfect timing with me. Raise the right leg up, three-legged dog. Let the leg lift high today. Right hip can roll up over the left hip and you might bend the knee. Let the foot fall back behind you. And on your next exhale, we'll step our right foot forward between the hands and lower your left knee to the mat or to a folded blanket. You might just take a moment here to gaze softly at whatever you may have collected that is a source of wonderment and awe for whatever reason, right? And then when you're ready, let's bring both hands to the front thigh and we'll just pulse the hips forward and down and up and back a few times. Inhabiting the movement with your awareness, inhabiting the body with your awareness. And then just find just right for you. Find a sweet spot to stay. We'll reach the arms up. Chandrasana. Right hand to left wrist, and let's just gently lean up and over to the right. We'll take a little side bend here. Arcing up and over with the spine and the arms. And then we'll return to center, re-reach the arms, interlace the fingers, and gently cup the back of your skull with your hands. Hug the elbows in and lift the forearms and the elbows up. Upper back, chest, neck and head are just gently lifting and curling up and back. One more in-breath. And on the exhale, let's release hands down and step back, downward facing dog. And just attuning again to the body and the constellation of sensations in the body. Notice what's changed now that you've started to move a little. And then we'll move second side. Left leg lifts up behind you. Finding that three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the foot drop. Next exhale, left foot forward between the hands and right knee to mat, and just take a moment to pause, gazing softly at your awe-inspiring object. We're just gazing softly forward and down onto the mat or the floor. Observing the colors, the light, the texture. And then both hands to front thigh, and let's just pulse through the legs on this side. I don't know about you, but I feel like when we're open and curious, for me, curiosity is like the doorway into being amazed, you know? What can follow is amazement. So always stay open and curious in the practice. When you're ready, find just a nice spot to stay. Reach the arms. And left hand to right wrist or forearm, and then we'll just lean gently up and over to the left. We're leaning to the same side as the front leg. It's opening up through your side body a little. And then back up to the middle, interlace the fingers, maybe interlace them the other way if you can remember. Cup the back of the skull, lift the elbows and the forearms, and gently, very gentle little back bend, lifting the heart and leaning just ever so slightly back. And the tail is still anchored and heavy. Another beautiful full in breath here. And on the out breath, we're going to let it go. Hands down. Step back down dog. Okay, let's keep going. Left leg lifts up again. That same three-legged dog. You might choose to keep the legs straight or to bend the knee, or you might choose to, explore a little with the foot or the ankle. Another inhale. And this time we'll exhale into pigeon pose. So right knee forward behind right wrist. Left leg long behind you. And we'll stay up on the fingertips. And if you feel like it's a little more comfortable for your front knee to just lean over onto the right hip and bend the back knee, this is a beautiful variation here. It also offers quite a lot of stability and groundedness, which might be what you're needing today. So choosing your variation. And then just settling the gaze, soft gaze. Fingertips might stay on the mat. Hands might be anchored a little further forward. Or you might explore with the arms a little in space. Hands reaching upwards or opening outwards. Another breath. And as we exhale, let's come gently down onto the forearms. We'll keep our left forearm on the mat, but we'll pivot it in on a little bit of an angle, and then we're just going to turn to the right, reach your right arm back, pick up your back foot and just take a hold of the foot. And if you're holding the foot, you might draw it in a little bit more towards your left buttock. And if you're not holding the foot, then you might be reaching back towards the foot and you're getting a lovely sense of engagement through the hamstring, the back of the left thigh, which is beautiful and has sensations of its own, right? Observing how this shape is for you on this day, in this moment. Always a little different, never exactly the same. And then as we exhale, let's let it go and step back, downward dog. Second side, left leg floats up. Play a little in the space with the foot or bend the knee, let the heel fall back. See where the shoulders want to be here today. Maybe they're gently turning with you, or maybe you keep them nice and level. So let it be a little experiment, making these little adjustments, noticing what shifts, what changes, how the body-mind responds. And then we'll come pigeon pose, second side. Settling into your variation. Keeping that openness and receptivity, that curiosity to what's happening for you right now. Choosing to come a little further forward or to float the fingertips. Or maybe fingertips stay on the floor, but you lift the gaze, see what's above you. And on your next exhale, let's come down onto the forearms. So if you're in the variation with the back knee slightly bent, you might choose not to pick up the back foot and just gently stay here and maybe rock the torso side to side instead. That might be quite divine. And if you have the variation with the back leg straight, let's make our way into that little twist and quadricep release. So right forearm pivots in on an angle that's just a little more stable and comfortable. And then we'll turn to the left. Reach the left arm back and take a hold of that back foot. And you might even just close the eyes throughout the practice today and And really zoom in on your inner landscape. It's so fascinating. Mind states constantly evolving as well. And then let's let go and step back again. We'll make our way back and meet in down dog. Wonderful. From down dog, let's walk our feet forward towards the top of the mat, towards the hands. Arrive in a forward fold, but bring the fingertips on the mat in front of the feet and lift like a halfway lift. So we'll keep our left hand where it is, bend the left knee, straighten the right leg as best you can today, and we'll open the right arm to the side, reach right fingertips to ceiling. And then we'll release, right fingertips to mat and just switch sides. Right knee bends, left leg straight. Open the left arm to the left. Roll the torso to the left and reach the left fingertips up again. And then at your own pace, release and just switch between the sides. Just continuous movement. Pulsing right to left, left to right. And you're welcome to experiment with the arms. You might circle the arm instead, or explore other movement from this forward fold. So there's definitely no right or wrong, and there's always opportunity to paint outside the lines, to explore and discover. And the next time you find yourself having done an even number on both sides, just fold back forward over the legs. Take a deep breath in when you get there. And a long, slow, smooth, ribbon-like exhale. We'll soften the knees and just take your time to slowly roll up the spine, vertebra by vertebra, sequentially moving up the spine. And when you arrive at the top, you might lift the chin and actually just gently press the hips forward and arch back, and you might let the arms just flow a little bit back too. And we're going to roll all the way back down again. So just tucking the chin to the chest and slowly rolling back in on yourself. And if the eyes are closed, you might visualize this beautiful spinal column of yours as you move vertebra by vertebra. Lifting the chest, lifting the gaze when you get to the top. And then returning to stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment here, gazing softly forward or closing the eyes and looking in again. I wasn't expecting to move so slowly through the practice with you today, but that's how it's flowing. So we'll keep going, hopefully enjoying this pace. Let's bring the hands to the waist, turn towards the long edge of the mat and step the feet out wide. Okay, we'll turn the right toes forward and the left toes in a little for our warrior two. Let's settle into warrior two. Front knee bends and arms open. gazing softly beyond the fingertips. Legs are strong and the upper body's light, spine just lengthening effortlessly upwards. And on your next inhale, let's straighten through the right leg. Tilt the pelvis, press your left hip back to the left as you reach through the right fingertips and lean forward into Trikonasana. Hand can be on shin, ankle, floor, or it might hover. And as you inhale, we'll rise again. Lift the torso, pelvis is level, and we'll go the other way. Left hand drops back, right arm reaches up and back. Both legs are still straight and strong. And then let's just sway between the two. Trikonasana as you exhale, and a reverse variation with Trikonasana legs. We'll do 3 more, and the arms don't need to be rigid. You might let the arms just kind of dance through space if that feels good for you, and if it brings you this sense of, wow, I'm in the body, I'm really embodied right now, which is pretty amazing and beautiful in itself. You might gaze at your special object, your awe-inspiring object every now and then. And the next time you're in Trikonasana, let's stay there. Take an in-breath. And as you exhale, let's transition half moon. Bend the front knee, reach that bottom arm forward, shift the gaze slightly forward, heel toe the back foot in, and when you're ready, shift the weight into the right foot and lift the left leg. Standing balances, you never really know what to expect, do you? They always sort of bring a sense of amazement, whether you're having a wobbly day or not. And that top arm, you might just see where it wants to go today. It might lay down on the top hip. It might play in space. Okay, you might want to take the Chapasana variation. Woo, bend the top knee, take a hold of the foot, press the foot into the hand. We'll meet back in half moon and exhale, bend the right knee, lightly step the left foot back into warrior 2. And then on the inhale, straighten through the right leg, turn the right toes in and just take a moment. Let the hands release to the waist. We'll go straight second side today. So left toes forward, right toes in. Find Virabhadrasana 2. What kind of warrior are you today? A warrior of light, a warrior of harmlessness, joy, playfulness. Let's play together now. Straighten through the left leg. Exhale. Lots of length through the left side body as you reach forward, tilt forward, lean forward. Trikonasana. And we'll do about 5 of these, but we don't need to be rigid with counting too much. Let's just flow as we did on the last side from our Trikonasana to our reverse Trikonasana. Let's call it that today. You might play with the gaze shifting with your movement, taking it all in. And the next time you're in triangle pose, Trikonasana, stay, take a breath in, and transition when you're ready on the exhale, half moon pose. If you're like me and you don't want to end up in your pot plant, you might have to adjust your position a little and then transition in. Actually, I don't mind ending up in my pot plant, but I'm pretty sure the pot plant doesn't like it when I end up in it. Let the top arm do what it wants to do in your half moon. I'm not giving you too much guidance as to how to experiment, so let it just come from your intuition. If you love taking the Chapasana variation, bending the top knee and holding onto the foot and pressing the foot into the hand, go ahead. Take that option. Rejoice, celebrate, enjoy it. And when you're ready from your half moon, let's travel all the way back into a final, sliding mat, a final warrior two. Inhale to straighten through the left leg. Exhale, hands to the waist. Turn the toes in and heel toe the feet in, or a little hop the feet hip width distance, and we'll step to the top of the mat. Okay, let's flow a little now. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift, inhale. And fold, exhale. Rise to stand, inhale, sweep the arms back up again. Hands to heart as you exhale. One more like that, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway, inhale. And fold, exhale. And we come all the way up again, strong legs as you reach the arms. And hands to heart center. Let's keep flowing. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And this time, exhale, anchor the hands, stepping one foot at a time, or jumping if you like, back to plank pose. We'll spend another breath or two here. You're welcome to modify and just have the knees on the mat if you're looking for just a little more stability and support today. It's always interesting to see how the body responds, the body-mind responds to plank pose. How the body-mind responds to challenge maybe, or to not wanting to be in a particular pose or a particular place or situation. One more in breath. And then we'll exhale. Let's lower slowly all the way onto the belly. Okay, let's play with locust pose to begin with. So reach the arms back, interlace the hands, reach the knuckles back. And if it's uncomfortable to interlace the hands, then you might have the hands reaching back alongside the body with the palms facing downwards instead. And when you're ready, float the legs and lift the chest. If you've got something precious in front of you or nearby you on the mat, you might gaze softly at that. Invoking this sense of childlike wonder at how amazing the world is and how we're all made of the same stuff. Stardust, but we're all different. One more in breath. And then as you exhale, release. Stack the hands in front of you, elbows wide, and just rest one ear on the backs of the hands. You might feel your heart beating, listening to your body breathing. Okay, let's take a bow pose. If you don't feel like taking bow pose today, you might take a few rolling cobra poses, rolling up and down with the breath. Maybe about 5 could be really nice. But if you're ready to play with bow pose, bend the knees, reach the hands back to take a hold of the feet, and we'll just press the shins back. Lift the shins and lift the chest. And here you might actually rock a little. I find that on the in-breath I can lift the chest, and on the out-breath there's a little release and rock forward. That might feel pretty playful, and you might experiment with that. One more inhale. And then we'll exhale and release from your cobra poses or your bow pose. Stack the hands and rest the other ear on the backs of the hands as though you're listening to all the wisdom that your hands have to offer you. Feeling the body laying on the mat. And the amazing magnitude of the support of Mother Earth beneath you. Let's lift the head, bring the hands alongside the body, tuck the toes, sit the hips up and back, and take a moment to sit back on the heels. So the option here is to sit for a handful of minutes, not too long, in seated meditation. I always love actually moving and sitting part of the way through the practice and kind of feeling into the vibrancy that the movement has created in the body vehicle. So you might choose that, or you might come with me and come up into camel pose. We'll have the shins or the knees hip width distance. Let's do 2 rounds today. So first round you might tuck the toes and have the heels lifted. If you were to have yoga blocks, you might have the blocks outside of the ankles on either side, so you don't need to reach so far. If that feels more appropriate for you, you reach the hands to the blocks instead of to the heels. Hands to heart today. And before you move, take a moment just to settle. Feel the anchoring of the feet and gently firm the buttocks. And there's a sense of the tail or the top rim of the buttocks lengthening down towards the mat underneath you. And like we did in our lunge when we had the hands cupping the back of the skull and the elbows lifting, we'll lead with the chest and the upper back today. So lifting the sternum up into the thumbs, lifting the heart, as though it's kind of like your heart's attached to a beautiful big parachute or balloon. It's just lifting the chest and the upper back up, up, and then just gently curling back, lifting up and curling back. And you might stay here with the hands to the heart, or you might release both arms simultaneously if you can. Lean back, hands to heels. Once the hands have arrived on the heels, you might just gently press the hips forward and keep this feeling of your heart lifting up towards the heavens. Whenever it's enough for you, you'll just press the floor away with the feet And draw yourself up and sit back down on the heels. You might take a moment to close the eyes or bring the hands to the heart and feel the heart beating. Just attuning into the miracle of this, just this. Let's go second round. Okay, back on the shins. Tops of feet might be on the mat now. You might keep the toes tucked. Firm the glutes, the buttocks. There's a sense of the tail lengthening down, kind of like it's attached to a little weight, just a little heavy. Hands to heart. And just guide yourself in, right? It's pretty amazing to really be able to connect to your timing, your intuition, so your own rhythm. Guiding yourself in when you're ready, heart lifting, lifting and curling back. Choosing your variation. Saving room to breathe. And maybe even smile a little, which is pretty miraculous too, to be able to smile in camel pose. And just coming out whenever you're ready. Press the mat away. Front body draws you up and out. Sitting back on the heels. So whether you've been in seated meditation or in camel pose, let's meet all together in one last downward facing dog. Practicing this down dog as though it was the first downward dog in your whole life. Coming into it with this sense of newness. You might shift the gaze a little around, look at the hands, the arms, the legs, the toes, the space between the legs. Sensing into the length of the spine as it waterfalls out of the pelvis. The steadiness and the sturdiness of the legs, the arms. And next exhale, we'll lower the knees to the mat. And we're going to sit today. So let's come to a seat, a wide-legged seat, an Upavista Konasana leg seat. If you are a little tighter through the backs of the legs or the inseams of the legs, then you might sit up on a folded blanket or towel. See what might be available for you, and if not, then you can just sit on your mat. Let's have the legs out in this V shape. It's totally okay to have the knees a little bent or to have the legs in a less obtuse angle of a V, so the legs might be a little narrower. Okay, so let's just turn towards the right leg. Take a moment to look at your beautiful toes. And then we'll reach our left hand to our right shin. Right hand can just be on the floor outside the leg. And lift the chest and gently turn. So it's more of a twist than a forward fold. One more in breath. And on the out breath, we'll release and we'll just travel to the second side. Right hand to left shin, left hand to the floor outside the leg. Press that left hand down to help you to lift the chest. and turn towards the left. Feeling into the spiral of the spine, the unwinding in the back, the hips, the legs. And then on your next exhale, let's go back to the first side. Okay, you might have hand on shin or a little further down towards the ankle. Lift and turn. Feeling the contact of your left hand with the skin of your leg, or the texture of your leggings or pants. Let's move to second side, hand to shin or a little further down the leg. Still lifting the chest and turning, lifting and turning. Holding the whole body in your awareness, even the right leg, the leg that you're not turning toward, you're still aware of it, aware of that leg all the way down to the tips of the toes. And let's do one more, all right? Back to the first side, choose. Hand might be a little higher up. You might slide the hand all the way to the base of the big toe. If you love staying in this twisted variation, stay. If you'd like to turn it into a little more of a forward fold, then you're welcome to bow over that right leg now. Your head like a beautiful, heavy, juicy watermelon. And your spine just arcing over the leg. Release. And last time, last side, choose the placement of your right hand. The left hand still stays outside the leg. Make it your own. Make it your own now. Gently folding or twisting or anything else that might inspire a sense of how wonderful it is to be embodied in the body. And then gently coming back up to the middle. And let's just come straight forward down the middle. You might stack the forearms and rest the head. You might lean on the hands. You might come a lot further down. And it might be, something that you don't usually do. So even if you can go all the way to the mat, maybe you stay high and just sway a little side to side. Or move a little into the head or the neck. Or find perfect stillness. You're welcome to change position, going from upright to a deeper forward fold, or moving from the forward fold to a little higher up. See what the view's like from your new position. And on your next in-breath, let's gently press into the hands and come back upright. Support the legs and draw the legs in toward one another, and let's wrap the arms around the legs and give ourselves a bit of a big hug. You might tuck the chin into the chest here and just take a moment to embrace this unique little droplet of you. So unique. Celebrating that. So precious. Pretty amazing, actually. You are. Let us now just lift the head and settle. You might settle in a comfortable seat as though preparing for seated meditation. You might recline backwards. You might take your awe-inspiring little objects and place them somewhere closer to you or in your hands, or depends how big they are, I guess. And just taking a few moments now, settling again, staying in the body, just noticing how it is to be alive. This aliveness so vast, it's almost really beyond comprehension, which is what makes it so amazing. Please feel free to stay longer in seated meditation or Shavasana. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.